folks. This is Trey again, and I want to go over something that I went over the other day on my mandolin that I also purchased for this particular guitar. This is my Eastman E10, and I purchased a tone guard for the guitar, and I think these are a little bit more expensive than the ones on the mandolin, and I think they run about 100, maybe a little bit just over 150 bucks. I don't remember, but I bought this thing with my own money. As I've said before, I am not sponsored by anybody. I bought all of my equipment with my own hard-earned money, and a lot of people say there's not a big tone difference when you put it on the guitar, which I notice a difference, but for some people it's not enough to go ahead and buy it and try it. I tried one on the guitar, and the particular guitar I was playing was it was a 1991 HD28, and it had one on there. It was a good sounding guitar, and the history I have with D28s and HD28s, they're just another guitar to me because I've played so many of them. And but I did notice there was a little bit of wasn't really a lot of difference because the guy had me take it off and play and listen, and I really didn't hear a lot of tone difference. Of course, that may just be the guitar itself because it's a rosewood guitar, whereas this guitar is a mahogany guitar, and you have a lot more response with this guitar. There's a lot of variables with mahogany. Mahogany, to me, is it's kind of like mandolins. If you put pressure on it, the more or less, the less you notice it. And I notice it a lot on this guitar, a lot. And kind of give you all a tone sample of what this thing sounds like with and without the tone guard. So let's get into that. Okay, so here's what it looks like on the back. Get some of this dust off of here. Just static. I can't seem to beat the static. But there's the back of this guitar. Eastman does a fabulous job of picking mahogany out for these particular guitars. Just absolutely beautiful. And so this is what this guitar sounds like without the tone guard. And leave a comment below if you hear a difference or not. Would love to hear from you about that. So here's the guitar without the tone guard. Alright, now, as you can tell, I've installed this thing, and the way these things go on, even with the manuals, they just pop on and pop off, which they're easy. I just leave them on there. Sometimes you have to take them off for the cases, but with my instruments, I don't have to worry about that, so because they fit just nicely without taking them off. So now here's the tone sample with the tone guard on this guitar. Okay, now I hope you can tell the difference in those two, because I personally can hear a difference in this guitar. I have tried this on my D35 and I cannot tell a difference in it, but I would have to kind of experiment with it a little bit more, because I have actually thought about going ahead and buying one for it. But for this guitar, and like I've said in the previous part of this video, with mahogany guitars, especially this particular one, not all mahogany guitars are the same, but this particular mahogany guitar, if you really press on, if you really like press against this guitar, it has a fluctuation in tone and volume. And you have that a lot more in mahogany guitars, to me anyway. And you still have your hand on this guitar, your arm and stuff, which I don't put a lot of pressure on that. I just kind of let it sit there and rest. Same way when I anchor the guitar, I don't really plant I plant more on the mandolin than I do on the guitar, but I don't plant like on both of them. I don't really try to poke a hole in the top or nothing. I just kind of, on the mandolin, I just kind of let it nestle there, whereas this on the guitar, it's more of a floating type thing. And that's the way it is when I hold the guitar. It stays kind of that way. Kind of have a light touch. So that's one thing I've noticed that I've done to kind of help with other instruments without a tone guard. But even with the tone guard, I hear a difference. A lot of people can't hear a difference, but I can personally hear the difference. And that's one of the main reasons why I purchased it. And the other main reason why is, and a lot of people don't know this about tone guards, is that they're kind of a scratch preventative. As I've said, on the mandolin, there's not very many scratches on the back. The same way with this guitar. There's not very many scratches on this guitar at all. Especially where your belt buckle will sometimes rub, or if you have snap Wrangler shirts, or even button-up shirts. You'll occasionally have a scratch here or there. But for the most part, my instruments that have the tone guards have not had very many issues with having scratches on. So that's one plus side of having a tone guard that a lot of people that fail to mention. That is, it's a kind of a scratch preventative. I guess for a guitarist, it's kind of like everything else. You have to try it before you buy it. If you're in a jam session and you see somebody that has that, ask them if it's okay if they could try it on your guitar, or ask them could they try it on their guitar and see how it feels and everything, because it's a totally different feel on the guitar than it is on the mandolin. The guitar, you notice it holding it out from your stomach more than you do on the mandolin, because there's more of a surface area that you touch, and you don't realize that on the guitar. There's a lot of surface area that you do touch on the resonator, in the tone box, as I call it. And the whole body of the guitar is the tone box, and To me, the more pressure you have on the tone box, the more muffled your tone, the less volume you're going to have as far as that. And as far as that goes, anyway. If you're working in the studio, you don't notice that as much. You can get away with a lot more stuff in the studio than you can live or in a jam session. So that's what I would say. If you have heard, if you're on the fence about buying one of these, uh, try before you buy, whether you wanted to put it in your arsenal or not. And if you can't hear tone difference, perfectly fine. You can play with that one. There's a lot of people out there that don't play tone guards on any of their instruments. A lot of people don't, and I'm one of them that do, because it's just my personal preference, if you will. So that's my insight on it. So thank you all for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe this video. Please leave a comment. I love reading those comments. And thank you all for watching.